Don't be intimidated by how big your goal is, because you're not supposed to go from here to here. You just need to go from here to here. It's like you see people who have like gotten to where you want to be, quicker than you. It's like, okay, but what things have you done to kind of hold yourself back? Was it fear? Was it doubt? Was it inconsistency? You have to take all that into consideration. Right. You don't want to be so talented but not disciplined, or you have all this passion but you're not persistent.
Hey you guys, it's Sharae, and this is Candid Convos, where we get comfortable and candid about some topics that need to be discussed. I have my friend Kortlynn here. So today we are talking about creating your own opportunities. So if you guys are interested in watching this video, stay tuned. One thing that we can definitely relate on is we both have always been go-getters when it comes to making your own opportunity and creating your own opportunity. So for example, with you and your blog, me and my blog, your podcast, me doing a podcast, the hot spot when we were in college, she had a show along with her co-host.
Shout out to Myra.
Yeah, where they were.
It was literally an entertainment show.
It was an entertainment show that came on Tiger TV, LSU's TV station. Yeah. So it was like a really big deal, and it was just so good to see. And not just to make it a race thing, but just black people getting together and making
all black
cast. Yeah, it was the first all black cast.
It was the first all black cast.
Oh, you give me chills right now. Like that's so cool, and it's just like the fact that they came together and made this happen. And then not only did y'all make it happen, but I like the fact that you guys reached out and incorporated other people in what you were doing. Like I remember, I was even on an episode where you guys, what was it, Highlight LSU. And
yeah, that was Ronald's idea.
Yeah, so they would link up with different people, and you're extending that olive branch. And I feel like it's so many people that have done that, and they're so successful. Issa Rae, for example, with Insecure, she started off with YouTube, and she created her own opportunities, and from there, now she has her own HBO show, and I feel like right now we're in a really good time where we can make our own opportunities because we have the resources like Instagram.
It has so much technology.
Yeah.
And like you said, Issa Rae, like she's a really good example, because I know one time she said in an interview about like don't underestimate like how powerful your inner circle is. And it's like, push yourself to network and make the opportunities that you, and make the connections that you need to. But it's just like when it comes to putting out content, again, talking about content creators in particular, don't be, don't look down upon like your inner circle. I think about with us, with the podcast, Bryant is a good friend of ours, and he's a videographer. He does graphics and stuff like that, and it's just like we always reach out to Bryant to do videography opportunities for us, to make graphics for us and stuff like that. So it's just like don't underestimate the power of your inner circle as well.
Right. Yeah, I love when she said that, because she was basically saying don't try to always network up. And she said that's what a lot of people get wrong. We try to we try to go straight to Diddy. We try to get to Diddy.
Straight to Oprah.
You try to go straight to Oprah, right? And it's like, no, you gotta network around, like on your level with different people.
And even like the next level up, that's something important too. Like especially like with me moving to New York and trying to create my own opportunities, and I will create my own opportunities. I may not be able to get the director of Complex or something like that, but I can find the intern of Complex on LinkedIn and reach out to the intern, because that's my next step. Yeah. And I think that's just a thing in general you have to be aware of. Like, you have to, don't be intimidated by how big your goal is, because you're not supposed to go from here to here. You just need to go from here to here. Right. So it's like, find what your next level is. Take one step. Create that opportunity to get you to your next step, because you're not going to go from level 4 to level 26. Like sometimes you just need to go from level 4 to 5. So find out what that is you need to do to get to 5, and then once you get to level 5, you get to level 6. Yeah. But I think we get turned off because we see level 26. It's like,
and how we see other people get to level 26, and sometimes we'll compare.
Are they really even at level 26? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you look at that highlight reel, and it's like not to shade anybody who like has that level of success, because where we're trying to be, like, you are goals. So it's like, shout out to those people, but it's just like, again, you you have to take people's highlight reels with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't compare yourself because you're not gonna. Everybody loses when you compare yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing good that's gonna come from that.
You just gotta be true to yourself, and you gotta know what you're passionate about and what you really want to do. You can't try to. I feel like it's no plan that's just gonna work perfectly for everybody.
Everybody has their own process. Everybody has their own journey, and it's just like, you don't know who you are going to, be an example for or uplift on your way of your journey. So it's just like, sometimes you're not supposed to go straight to the top or whatever, and some people do, and that's great, but it's like you have to trust what your own personal journey is. And it's just like, again, being self-aware, like self-awareness is such a blessing. It's like you see people who have like gotten to where you want to be, quicker than you. It's like, okay, but what things have you done to kind of hold yourself back? Was it fear? Was it doubt? Was it inconsistency?
Right.
Things like that. You have to take all that into consideration.
Right. So one more thing on creating your own opportunity. So if you had just this one rule of thumb that you would say that people need to follow to create their own opportunities, what would you say that would be?
One rule of thumb to create your own opportunities, I think, is, again, truly assessing your situation and just, looking at where you want to be. Don't try to go from the start to the finish immediately.
Right.
You got to figure out what your next level is and just connect the dots. Like my famous, like people always know me as, I say growing up, I was going to be the next Oprah. Okay, well, if Kortlynn is here and Oprah is here, I have to figure out what's my next step to get here, and then from here, what's my next step to get here. You have to see where your goal is and then plot different milestones and appreciate those milestones as you cross them.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing, too, that we don't really appreciate our small victories. So I think it's like truly assessing your situation. If you see toxic things, if you see distracting things, pull them out. And, assessing your situation and finding those milestones, that's going to be the biggest thing. Because like for me personally, I am stepping out on faith, moving to New York. I've been in New Orleans pretty much all my life except for my 4 years at LSU. And, I had to realize that my environment of being in New Orleans, being at my normal 9 to 5, my human resources job, whatever environment you want to call it, was not, it was not inclusive, I guess, or supportive of what my dreams are. Right. So I knew I had to uproot myself and move. And it's just like, I don't have a job. I haven't secured a job yet. I didn't save up 10 grand like I wanted to, whatever. But it's just like, I know I have to try.
Right.
I have to try.
Because trust me, I've done it. I've tried. And it's like, you can feel like, even when I tried, I felt like I lost everything to try to fight for what I wanted. But I would rather...
You rather try
I would rather try and fail, which I did do. And it's like when you're going through, it's the worst feeling ever. It's hard, and you feel like, dang, like you beat yourself up. But the thing is, it's like, I'm so much happier that I tried and failed instead of getting to that point in life where it's too late to even try to do that. Where I feel like I got too much on my plate. I can't just uproot my life. And I would advise anybody, if you have a dream, a goal, you want to move somewhere, go for it, because home is always going to be at home. So you can always come back home. But at least I know that I went out there, and I can advise people on what not to do as well, from my personal experiences. But I feel like if I didn't get that experience, like I wouldn't have reached the new level of maturity that I had to reach in order to, really see how this plays out, how this world works, and just being on my own, I learned and gained so much from it. So I would always just advise people, if you have a dream, go for it,
Yep, and like people have been telling me that, like as I've been telling a few select people that I'm moving, I guess it's not so select anymore, but like people have been telling me, like, well, how are you gonna do that? Like, that's so scary. And it's like,
I had so many people.
I am scared. Like everybody said I wasn't scared, but the what if I never tried scares me more.
Right, because it's like, okay, you don't try, and then you never know.
You never know.
You can go and succeed, or you can go and fail, but at least you know that you went, and that says way more than what a lot of other people can say they've done.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, like, my guy's here. So Sheba Turk, she's an anchor for Channel 4 in New Orleans, and she's been a mentor of mine for a while. And like she told me like probably about 2 years ago, and it's like it really took like a year and a half for it to really like sit. But she told me, she was like, Kortlynn, first of all, if you want to do entertainment journalism, just know you gotta move. Right. That's the first and foremost thing. Like you ain't gonna better stay here and do it. So that's the first thing. Get that through your head. Secondly, let's say you do move to LA or you move to New York and you fail miserably. You fall flat on your face, you lose all your money. What are you gonna do? You're gonna come home, live with your parents, and work a human resources job that you hate, which is what you're already doing. You don't have nothing to lose.
Right.
Just go for it.
Right.
And it's
that's
just like
the hardest part is going
for it.
That's the hardest part because you hold yourself back. Like, oh, what if I fail? What if this? What if
you don't?
What if and it's like I went and it didn't work out, but I'm still here. You just come home, regroup, get your life together,
and try again.
It's almost like you trying to find out what's gonna make you rich. Like nobody. It's not an overnight thing. You're trying to figure it out, so you don't have nothing to lose. That's I love how you say that. It's like, okay, what I'm gonna do? Come home, regroup, work this job that I would have been working anyway. So what did I? At least I got an experience. I met some people. You know what I mean? That's something I can definitely say that I gained so much from going there. I lost a lot because I was fighting for what I believed in, and it's almost like being a starving artist where you're just like, man, I know I'm making it. It's like you fighting.
But it's like, Sarah, you keep saying like you lost, and it's just like,
well, you know what? I learned.
You learned, and you if that loss was on your path, which it was, because obviously that's the way it was supposed to happen. You got it out of the way, and now you get to keep moving forward.
Right.
But it's like, imagine like if you would have never went, you would still be in a place where you hadn't even gotten that out of your system to get through. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I like that you kind of checked me on that because it's like it wasn't a loss. It was a material loss, but what I gained was so much more.
It was just a part of your journey. Like you had to. It was an obstacle that you had to overcome, so that you can be where you are today, so that you can keep moving forward. But it's like if you would have never left, you would still have that obstacle in front of you. Like you still have to overcome it.
Yeah, and that would be something that would make you unhappy, and you even more so make you feel like you're going through that crisis because you like, man, I really want to do this, but you holding your own self back. The hardest part is taking that leap of faith. It could work out or it could not, but either way, you're gonna learn something. It's no losses, it's lessons. That's what I had to reprogram myself.
And you only get one life, y'all. Like that's the thing about it. Like I've been telling people that, as I talk about my move more and more, I only get one chance at this thing called life. And it's like I'd rather just go and try, just knowing that I tried. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, I will be working in human resources. And guess what? I'm gonna be a bomb human resources person.
Right.
But it's like at least I know I tried. Like you only get one chance, and I just couldn't. I got to a point, y'all, and I guess like that was kind of like the brink of my quarter life crisis, or like kind of like when I broke through, and I was just like, I cannot imagine 10 years from now looking back and saying, dang, Kortlynn, you didn't even try.
Right.
Or like bringing kids into this world and telling your kids you can be whatever you want to be. They be looking at me like, Mama, you didn't even try to do what you wanted to be.
Right.
And so it's just like you have to try. And again, that's why I say like my number one takeaway is just assessing your situation and making sure that you are actually trying. That was my biggest takeaway. Like that's what I needed to tell myself a year ago, because I wasn't trying. I just was sitting in a place of fear.
Yeah.
So you have to try.
Just like you said, try. Like just start, because a lot of times we'll talk our own selves out of something because we feel like we don't have everything that we need or we see in our mind a particular way that we want it, and if we can't get that way, you just we just hold on to it. And I'm gonna tell you guys like this: it's been so many times I have ideas for whatever, and I'm sitting back because I'm like, man, I want to be perfect. I want to be like this. I want it to look like this, and then somebody else do it, and I be feeling so like exhausted because I'm like, bruh, that was my idea. It's even been product ideas, that makeup brands have came out with or something like a brush cleaner or something like that, and I'm like, man, I thought of that. But who cares of what you thought of? It's about what you do. You gotta execute. You gotta put the work in. Because
and if anything, use that as encouragement to know that you have the $1 million ideas too, but you just haven't fully executed them.
Yeah.
So just like if anything, that should be encouraging. It's like I get that. Like I'm talking and I'm saying all this for myself. Like this is all a refresher for me too, because it's just like I said, we haven't been the most consistent with the podcast, and you know, I don't put video blogs up like I should, but it's just like I know what's in me, I know my talent, but it's like, again, it goes back to, you don't want to be so talented but not disciplined, or you know, you have all this passion but you're not persistent, you know.
Right.
So just like, again, assessing that situation and being proud of yourself that you do have those great ideas, and so you know the next time you get one, you probably should execute it because it's probably gonna be bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have it in you.
And you know what I think stops us too from doing it, because we have the ideas, but we think about how we want it to be executed, and we feel like if we can't execute it that way, we're perfectionists. And I think another thing that makes us that way too, not just being creative and a perfectionist in us, but we think about what other people are gonna think of it, and that prevents us from putting it out, because we like, but they might think this look bootleg, they might think it look janky, like, you know, and we stop ourselves from doing it, and it's more than what other people are even doing. When they posting pictures of Throwback Thursdays or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, which we all do sometimes, but what I'm saying is, we so busy worried about what these people gonna think, when they don't even have half of the ideas or capabilities to do what we feel like isn't what we want.
I'm gonna tell you,
you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like,
no, it makes complete sense. I'm gonna tell you,
it's bad. It's actually good compared to what these people are capable of doing.
Yes.
And we worried about so much what they think.
but you have to start. You have to actually start, and it's just like I always commend my co-host Marlon with the podcast, because like I call it the Chiwi dread phase. Everybody wants dreads, but nobody wants the Chiwi phase. And it's just like, it's that ugly phase, right? It's that ugly beginning phase that
sounds like when you first go natural and you be looking like a boy, girl. And you do that big shot.
It's literally
like somebody's little brother.
It's the big shot, it's the Chiwi dread phase, it's whatever that ugly beginning phase is that you want to call it. And I think about that with the podcast, like, you know, and Marlon he's gonna scream when he sees this part, but it's like with our first logo, and like anybody who knows me, like, you know, goes way back, like our first logo, I hated it so much. It was literally a cartoon Marlon on a windowsill cleaning out a window that said "Clearly Misunderstood," and it was like, I hated that logo.
Right.
I hated it so much. But it's just like, if we would have never started there, we wouldn't have what we have now. Now we're expanding to the point where we are a podcast network and we have several shows.
Right.
But it's just like, we would have never gotten there if we wouldn't have started and got through that other phase.
Right.
It's like our logo didn't stay Marlon sitting on the windowsill forever.
Yeah.
But it was what we needed to start and just get the idea out to birth it.
Because you can always rebrand. Like, I just, started rebranding my blog and changed the logo and things like that. Because I feel like it was so much time that had passed from when I first started the blog, when I was going to college. It was like a fashion thing, to where I am now in life. And the things that I want to talk about is completely different than what I talked about back then. Or I feel like my thoughts on it have, evolved or elevated.
And again, that self-awareness, that acknowledging that you have evolved. That's another thing too. Like, your brand is going to evolve, or whatever your starting point is. I don't want to say just for creators, but you have to acknowledge the fact that you are evolving. So you have to make sure your goals are evolving too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In the place that you want to be. So that's a good thing as well. Like, just having that self-awareness that I have similar goals. I have the same big goal, or the way I want to go about it may be different because you're a different person now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, so another thing, like, I don't know, let's just get my juice on. This might end up being a part 2, because now we're talking about creating your own opportunities, which I felt like was going to just be, a short little, but it's like opening up so many different things for me, because that's so hard. Like, it seems like it's something, it's easier said than done. Like, just create your own opportunity. Like, it's scary to create your own opportunities, because, like I said, you feel like you don't have the resources that you need. But it's resources all around us, and sometimes what makes our work so impressive is when you don't have a $1 million budget to create a video, and you got to use what you have. I remember when I started first doing my YouTube videos, I started off with my little webcam off of a little mini laptop that I had. It was all blurry, messed up, but I put myself out there, and I was so scared to upload it, because I'm like, man, what are people gonna think? And after I did it, it just got easier and easier. As time went by, I found out about the Media Center on LSU campus. I started renting cameras from there. I would record my videos. tripods and things like that, gradually improving. And I feel like you're going to improve over time, but you just have to start somewhere. Like, even if it's at a webcam or if you filming off of your iPhone camera, if you want to do something in media, but you have to put the work in, and you have to have something to show if you want to eventually move up in your career.
And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, just about like stewardship and like stewarding like what you have. And it's just like that is so important, because like you have to show that you like we have a lot of like big dreams and goals, and just like ask yourself, like, if I was there right now and where I really wanted to be, would I be able to handle it? And just like, you can say yes if you wanted to, but if you haven't been properly stewarding over what you have now, there's no way you can handle something.
Yeah, and that's like the video I just did talking about praying for preparation. It's like a lot of times we'll say we want something, but we don't even know what all that entails until we get there. And then sometimes you get there and you're not able to handle it. So you gotta pray for preparation, and you gotta, really, really embrace what it takes to get there, because once you're ready for that level of success, then you're gonna have it. But sometimes we want it so fast, and we're mentally not even ready for, or emotionally, we're not ready for what all that entails.
Yeah, I definitely, I did on my IG channel, my IGTV channel, I did a gem of a week about that, about making sure that like whatever it is that you want in your life, your big goals, your big dreams, make sure that your prayer regimen and your spiritual appetite is up to par to support where you want to be. Right. Because I'm gonna tell you guys, for me, deciding to move to New York, last year was basically a year of like, are you gonna move to LA or are you gonna move to New York? Because I didn't always say I wanted to go to New York. But what I decided to do was trying, right, and preparing. I was like, okay, well, Kortlynn, visit LA, visit New York, see what you want to do, see where you feel like God wants you to be. And that ended up being New York. And when I finally got to New York and I had a meeting set up with higher people, and it was like, my instant reactions here was fear. That was my gut reaction. Like, I was there, I was in the middle of Times Square, I had a meeting with this big producer, and it was like, my gut feeling was to be scared. And I was just like, you're not feeding your spirit enough. Literally, God is showing you where he can take you, and you got a little taste of that, and you over here crying in the corner in Times Square. Right. It's just like, you have to make sure that where you want to be, that your prayer regimen and spiritual appetite can support it, because if not, and you're running on spiritual fumes, you're going to end up crumbling. Right. You're going to end up crumbling because you don't have the foundation and support. So
wow, I was going to post. I was watching those videos that you sent me earlier. One of them I had already seen. One of my friends had sent it to me. But
the relationship goals.
Relationship goals. And he was talking about being single. It's not all about relationships. One of the things that really hit, he was talking about foundation, how important it is. Like, you can't have a house without foundation. And I almost posted, if you don't have foundation, anything you do can or will crumble, because you don't have a firm foundation. Like, oh, that's a word.
And you just have to be, and that's why it's so important. Like, you hear people say, trust the process, and you just I don't know the process no more. But it's just like, if you're not where you want to be yet, it's for a reason. Take that time to make sure you are building a solid foundation, because I promise you, when God takes you there, and if you're not ready to be there, you are going to freak out. That's exactly what I did. I overcame so much last year of, breaking up with a long-time boyfriend, and, going through that quarter-life crisis. 2018 was spicy, okay? It was mad spicy. It was like this, and it was just when I finally started getting to the place where I wanted to be, my gut reaction was fear, and I just felt so shamed and almost embarrassed as a Christian that I got a piece of where I feel like I'm supposed to be in line with my purpose, and I was scared. And so it's just you have to make sure whatever the time is that you have preparing to where you want to be, truly take advantage of it. That is a season of preparation for you. It's a season to get that foundation solid, because if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Get ready, so when the opportunity happens, you're not freaking out and you don't have to scramble for anything.
Yeah, I feel like preparation is one of the best ways to kind of help cure anxiety, because I was thinking about that today. It's so crazy how we bouncing off each other. There's things that I think to myself and then you saying them out loud. But just even filming this video, I've never, in the years, I've had my blog over 5 years, I've never invited somebody else on. And I think it was because I was always nervous. It's something I always wanted to do, but I was always nervous because I'm like, man, I don't want this to not go right. I don't want it to be a bad reflection on me and the brand, and I don't want it to not be the way that I want it to be. But then I'm just like, you know what, Sierra, you just gotta go for it. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. But I had a little anxiety because I'm just like, I just want everything to go smooth, and I get nervous about stuff like that. And then I thought to myself, when you get anxious about things, the best way to overcome that is to be prepared. So if I made sure I reviewed my notes, I know, my camera's charged, everything is ready, then what am I anxious about? Whatever happens from there, happens, but you gotta make sure that, did you do everything to prepare yourself? So that's so crazy that you said that, because I was thinking that, and that kind of made my nerves calm down a little bit, like, okay, as long as you did everything in your power that you know that you need to do, you're gonna be okay. Exactly. Like, it's gonna be alright.
And it's like, I don't know if it's something like with our generation, but like I know I'm a procrastinator. Like I'm a big procrastinator.
I'm a huge procrastinator.
I'm a huge procrastinator, and it's just like I realized that my so it's like I have these big goals, right? And then I get anxious about those goals, right? And then I procrastinate on doing the things that I need to do to get me to my next level to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then that further triggers my anxiety because I'm not doing anything. So it's like you have these long list of things that's getting you anxious, and then you're a procrastinator, so then you don't even start on that.
Right.
And then you're a perfectionist on top of it,
right.
which means you just don't do anything.
I'm in the same boat, and it's so crazy because what scares us is the fact that we see the big goal. The best way to kind of help overcome that is just like, that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So when you break down that big goal, like for example, you moving to New York, okay, finding an apartment, networking, finding a job, like breaking that down, doing your research and preparing yourself for what you're about to go through, and breaking it down, because it's almost like somebody saying, I want to write a book. Okay, it's definitely possible to write a book, but you got to start with the first page, chapter by chapter. You have to break it down. So yeah, I definitely think that's important. So any other tips that you feel like you have on procrastination, since we got on that? Because I feel like that's one huge thing that hinders us from creating our own opportunities, because we have so many distractions.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, like pulling those distractions, like pulling yourself away from those distractions, like identifying what is distracting you, pulling yourself away from them, and then actually just trying. Like you literally have to do what Nike says and just do it. Like you just have to try. And again, like for me, like I got to a point where I was just like, the what if I never tried started to scare me more than the actual trying. And so that's like how
that's
I started.
That's a good place to be, though.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, and it's just like that's how I started to overcome my procrastination. It's just like I still struggle with procrastination. Like I'm not perfect by any means, and I haven't completely conquered it, but I just started trying. I just started trying and just setting those little goals for yourself. And again, like if you're a procrastinator like me, and you're a perfectionist on top of it, like those are just so many toxic things on top of each other, and you know what it ends up equating to? You not doing anything, which is what I did for the last 3 years. Like, besides my podcast. But again, you see where you are, you see where you want to be, and you just try to connect the dots to see how you get to the place you want to be.
Right.
And you just set small goals for yourself, and don't forget to give yourself that pat on the back when you do execute them. Because that's another thing too, like you start beating down on yourself because you're not where you want to be, but you don't give yourself any credit for the progress that you've made. Like, and truly appreciating those small goals and those small accomplishments. It's just like that helps procrastination too, because when you look at smaller goals that look more attainable, you can go after those. Like a lot of you, like procrastination is triggered by certain things,
right? And
sometimes your procrastination can be triggered by seeing that you're not where you want to be, but you can get to the next step. You just have to like actually do it, and set a plan, set guidelines, timelines for yourself, set alarms, create that environment to where you hold yourself accountable. And that is a big factor.
Or have accountability partners.
So, like
friends of yours that's battery chargers, energy chargers that fuels you. It helps you pursue your career goals and your dreams. I'm pretty sure that's like how you all are Clearly Misunderstood. And you guys, everybody's going to have their moment where they're unmotivated. Motivation isn't something that's just at 100 at all times. Sometimes there's certain things that will, make your motivation or inspiration decrease.
That's why you have to aim for discipline and not motivation.
Right.
That's why you have to aim for discipline and not motivation, because motivation will linger.
Yeah.
It will not always be there. But if you discipline yourself and you hold yourself accountable, it's going to push you on the days that you're not motivated.
Right.
That's what I needed to hear for myself, actually. Because that is a place where I'm in. Like, when I'm motivated, I'm good. And it's like, when the other days I'm not motivated, I don't do anything.
Right.
And it's my lack of discipline.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, like I mentioned earlier with that sermon from Sarah Jakes Roberts, when she said, you don't want people to say that you were talented but not disciplined enough.
Right.
Girl, that shook me to my core.
Right.
Like, I started crying when I heard her say that, because I was like, Kortlynn, that's what you're on track to be.
Yeah.
You're on track for people to
Ooh,
say.
that's a word. Discipline.
Discipline. That is what you're on track to be. Like, that is what people say. Oh, Kortlynn had this great gift. She spoke so well. She's so inspiring. But where's Kortlynn? Not doing what she wanted to do.
At the club.
Girl, not club and not one to it. But literally though, it's just like, what are you on track to do? And you have to look at your environment and ask yourself, am I on track to what I want to do?
Right.
And this is particularly for creatives, I guess. I had just had this conversation with somebody. She wanted to know, like, and I've had this conversation with other people too, but like, people who want to be in that creative field and taking that 9 to 5 route to get to, like, and you think it's going to get you to your ultimate goal. I will never knock anybody who says that they want to get like a normal 9 to 5 job to, as an intermediate thing or whatever. Just always make sure whatever opportunities you're taking, you still have your bigger goal in mind, and truly being honest with yourself. And still working on it. That's the thing I told her.
Never put that on pause.
Never put it on pause.
I think, and this is something that I witnessed in California, how with so many people, they have their dreams, they want to act, whatever they want to do, but it's like, it's so expensive out there. You have to.
You gotta find a way to finance your freedom.
You have to finance your freedom and your dreams and your passions. But where people get it wrong is when they focus and put too much energy into that 9 to 5, that they're not putting that same energy into what they really want to do.
And you become complacent.
They become complacent, and it's usually because by that time, if you work a 9 to 5, you're drained.
You're tired.
You don't have the energy, but you have to make sure that you have that balance.
Yep.
So when you go to work and you know you're working for 8 hours, put some time aside to focus on your career goals, because if you just focus on this 9 to 5,
you financing somebody else's dream.
Exactly, and it's going to be unbalanced, and you're never going to really get to where you want to be, or you're always going to be behind on your personal goals.
So whatever that fuel is, put it in a bottle, wake up every morning and take a sip of it, because that's what you have to do to keep yourself focused. It's just like me being in human resources for 3 to 4 years, there was nothing wrong with that. But I feel like if I could tell Kortlynn 3 years ago when you took that human resources job, hey, save $50 from every paycheck because you plan to move to New York in 2019, then I would have been on track. But what happened was I became complacent working that 9 to 5 job and getting caught up in that facade, and then letting my dreams die, and then I had to have a come to Jesus moment later. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Enterprise is always calling. They always taking somebody with a degree. And it's like, take that job in Enterprise, take that job in Human Resources, take that office admin assistant, or admin role, or whatever it is. Right. But just don't lose sight of your own dreams, and like, be honest with yourself. Is this really getting me to my next step? If I take this job at Enterprise, how's it going to get me to my goal of being a journalist or whatever it may be? And if you need that year or 2 years working in that job to get you on your feet, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But just don't lose sight of why you're there.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in that 9 to 5. Like, I did it. I had the car, I had the job, I had the boyfriend. I was like, I'm good. I'm ready for a ring.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
And sometimes you get so complacent that you feel like, I'm good.
I'm good.
But it's always going to come back, because when you have
it comes back in quarter life crisis.
Yeah, it's going to come back, and you're going to feel like, well, dang, did I do everything I needed to do, or that I could have done to get to where I wanted to be? And the last thing that I just want to mention in regards to creating your own opportunities is that the mind is a muscle, and a lot of people don't realize, just like when you're working out, you can't go to the gym one day and expect to have abs if you don't do this on a consistent basis. So you have to mentally, not only be consistent, whatever it is your craft, but mentally you have to be consistent with that discipline that you was talking about, as well as fueling yourself with positive affirmations, surrounding yourself with positive people. Because it's not just a one-day thing where you just like, yeah, girl, you got this, you that shit. And then tomorrow you just like, whatever. You have to make a habit of being fueled up, fired up, and motivating
that motivating environment.
Creating that motivated environment, even when you feel down. You know, having, even if you do the sticky notes, like being Mary Jane,
your lock screen, something.
Yeah,
like
you know,
something
give yourself positive
yourself.
affirmations, having, you know, scriptures and things like that. I can do anything through Christ who strengthens me, whatever, you know, but just making sure that even when you have those bad days, you know what it takes to get you back up there, because your mind is a muscle, so you know what you need to do to keep it charged up and fueled up to focus on your passions and your goals. That was such a great conversation, and I'm so glad that we finally got a chance to talk about it, because there's so many people, even guys, believe it or not, have reached out to me when I talk about these things on Instagram, and they've opened up and said they've experienced the same thing. So I feel like it's something that so many of us go through. We just never really open up and really have a dialogue about it. So I'm so glad that we finally was able to do that today.
And just verbalize it.
Yeah, and just let you know it is real. It's a real thing that a lot of us go through. And if you're going through it, you're not alone. So I hope that these tips and everything that we discussed can help you overcome this quarter-life crisis and for you to create your own opportunities. So, anything that you have going on that you want to talk about? What's your social media? And how can these people get in touch with you and keep up with you so that they can get those gems?
So, yes, I will be moving to New York next month in March. So definitely follow me on Instagram at Kort Stay Dropping Gems, K-O-R-T, Stay Dropping Gems. My Twitter is it's Jenae, ITSKJENAE. And I'm sure you're going to put this at the bottom of the stream anyway, so I don't know why I'm spelling it.
It's nice. Some people need to hear it.
So yeah, just follow me on social media. Shout out to my podcast, Clearly Misunderstood. We are going to be coming back very soon. I'm very proud of the podcast becoming a network. So we are growing and expanding as well. So you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at UnderstoodPod. And then on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You know, you can search Clearly Misunderstood and you're gonna find us. Very, very funny. Think like Breakfast Club-esque, but like even more funny, I guess. Like if the Breakfast Club was like
more comedians.
Yeah, there's more comedy to it, but we are gonna talk about, you know, it is kind of like entertainment based. And we basically just got feedback, like you feel like you're talking to your three friends from the South who are just funny as hell.
Yeah.
And just, you know, catching up on what happened the previous week. So look out for that. So yeah, podcasting, social media, you will catch up with me, and you know, just keep me in your prayers because I'm heading to NYC to see what God has in store. So.
All right, so it's official like the whistle. You got all of her information, so you guys make sure that you go follow her and support what she's doing, because I really see like bright things in your future, and I'm not just trying to gas you up.
I'm like, girl, don't gas me.
Like just from college and just me seeing your growth and everything that you're involved in, you know, I always respected everything that you do, and I can tell that you really care and you polish your craft. You know, you really putting that work in, and I really admire it. Stuff like that motivates me, and I like to keep people, you know, surround myself, even if it's not on a daily basis, you know, just checking in every now and again, because that fuels me and kind of motivates me to keep pushing when I see people like you doing what you do. So,
and that's how this video came about. Because you posted something and I checked on you and you was like, oh, we need to do a video. So
what did I post?
I think he was introducing that your channel is back.
Oh,
and I was like, shout out to you.
And I was gonna reach out to her because I'm like, Kortlynn gotta be on here. Like, I'm rebranding it, and she's the perfect person to do this. So, thank you guys so much for watching Candid Convos. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow Kortlynn, and so that you can keep up with everything that she's gonna be doing. Because I already see. I'm telling you, just make sure that you follow her.
She wants to stop gassing me one of these days.
Girl, I'm life crisis. Comment down below. Let us know what you did to overcome it. If you're still going through it, what are some things that you feel like helped you or that's helping you? And also, if you feel like you got anything from this video that just was like a light bulb, you can comment that